Yeah, I would say that the album doesn't sound like the early albums, and I think that's fine. And actually, I would probably say the song "Back to Savageland" is probably one of the better tracks on the album. It's just the way the songs are written. You know, the extra time that you had in between this album and the last, did that really help kind of refine the songwriting a bit for you? Because
Yeah.
again, it's 7 years, but the album, I got to be honest, I even posted this on my Facebook page. The album, I think, I'm not as into as many power metal or traditional metal bands, but this record really, it sort of surprised me because I liked their last record. I thought it was pretty solid, but I was like, man, I go, I'm listening to this. And I'm like, these guys really took their music to a different level. You really did. Um,
Wow, thank
and
you.
and I think, you know, sometimes, you know, you get that extra time, you can refine the songs. You don't have crazy deadlines, you know, and that's kind of what it feels like. It feels like it's just a relaxed album, and everything about the record, the way the songs are written, even it just, I don't know. It's hard to say, but when I look at this band's discography, it's hard for me to not put this one towards the top.
Wow, thank you. I would say we as a band got more relaxed. So we had to really overcome some struggles. Back
Yeah,
in the Beast Reborn time, we put a lot of effort into this album, but it really drained or sucked out our energy. To be honest, the production was really hard and really tough, and in the end, we were all very nervous and stressed out, and this atmosphere was also in the band. So after it's finished, we were all
hmm,
tired, and then we did a lot of touring with it, which was fun. Corona kicked in, of course, and this calmed us down. We had the luck that we were just finished with everything. We just finished our tours, and when Corona came, we were down to zero. So we had nothing. This was the point where we should have started something new, but we couldn't.
hmm,
So we waited, and in this time where we couldn't do nothing, we reworked everything that went wrong to the Beast Reborn time. And we really had sessions in our rehearsal room with a flip chart, and everybody was able to talk about, okay, what annoys me, what pisses me on, what goes wrong, what do I want to do different. And we had a lot of talks together and really redefined how we work each other, somehow redefined our friendship. In this process, at some point, Nicolas, our drummer, who was responsible for a lot of tasks in the band, also left the band, and this forced us again to rearrange and to restructure. And this made us more friends, more relaxed, and this placed some kind of behavior that was much better than before. And the new album,
yeah,
the production and the songwriting and everything went much more smooth because we learned somehow to respect each other, to know our limits, how to talk to each other, how to avoid everything that went wrong in the Beast Reborn time. And I think this is the most important factor. This out of this more fluid, more friendly atmosphere, uh, this is reflected into the music. So we redefined ourselves, and yeah, it's a long time. And as you said, after this part, this long time, there was no deadlines anymore. So we were also down to zero. So we decided, let's make it good
yeah.
and not hurry up. Now take the time we need, and then we can do our best. And when we have to return, this is another point. When you have to return after 7 years, that it must be somehow good. If you then put out something lousy or something that is fast crafted, that would disappoint everybody. So this was the only pressure to say, okay, when we return, then it must be good. So otherwise, it makes no sense.
Well, I could tell you, my expectations on it were it exceeded them because again, you know, and it's hard to say when a band comes back after a long time. You know what? Probably one of the more disappointing things is if the album's bad. But you
Mm,
guys didn't do that. It's just a classic, old school, straight ahead straight ahead power metal album. And I think the songs are really well written. I think everything's placed where it needs to be. And I think that's probably one of the best things I could say about this record in general. You have an earbook
Yeah.
coming out. You have a bonus disc. I know that because I just pre-ordered it just while I was talking to you.
Oh, great.
Because it's got a disc of some extra songs on it, and you have some cool. You have like a narration on it, which I'm intrigued to know a little bit more about if you know what I'm talking about. But there's like a narration.
It is,
Back to
yeah.
Savageland narration. So what is that? You have some remixes of a few tracks. You have some bonus tracks that didn't make the record. But I looked at that. I was a little bit intrigued, and I'm like, huh, I should probably pick this up. And that's what I just did.
Oh, this ebook is an insane project. When I said, okay, everything went smooth and everything was good, then Klaus Insanity, our singer, kicked in. He's a guy who's full of ideas, and
Yeah.
at a certain point, we said, okay, we need some bonus stuff, okay, and then maybe we can make an EP with some new stuff. Maybe we can make an earbook, and it grew and grew. And suddenly, instead of doing some bonus tracks, to be honest, these are not tracks that are left over. We've written another half album, especially for this EP. It has its own story. It tells the story of Vices the Ruler from a different perspective, and the songs are really good. It's no leftovers. It's really new songs that we've actually written for this thing. Then we made a photo documentary of our video shoots with a really high quality. I've written a lot of text to describe the story. We have liner notes about each song. So what's the idea behind it? How is it created? So
Yeah.
it's really a book. You can read it. We have some artworks from our cover designer, and yeah, this narration. I'm very proud of it because it really tells the story. And I don't know if you ever heard about the band Regicide.
Yes.
You know them, really?
Well, just remember that I've been doing this almost 30 years.
Yeah, it's long ago since they did the last album, but they are from the singer Timo is a good friend of mine, and they also come from our hometown. And he has a voice to lay down. He can read phone books, and you would like to listen to it.
Yeah.
And he did the narration for us. So we have 11 minutes of really telling the whole story of the album with some sound effects underneath. So the regular album, you heard the intro. That's his voice. So in this style of the intro, the whole story is told by him, and I am very happy with the result. I hope somebody will take the time to listen to it, because I really like how
you're saying Regicide, right?
Regicide, yeah.
Regicide, yeah. I remember. I think it was, what was the name of the album? Traveling Minds. I think that might have been the debut. I could be wrong, but
yeah. And then they had the second one was Break the Silence, I guess.
Yeah. They had
awesome
Break the
band.
Silence. They had a lot of good. I remember the debut album. Came to me. I don't know how it came to me, but it was like early 2000s, 2001.
It is, yeah.
02.
At this point, yeah.
Yep. I mean, I remember them. I grew up. I mean, most of this show started out with a lot of me. It was a radio show, and I started out. Most of the bands I was playing on were from Europe, from Germany. So a lot of these power metal bands, like you bring in that band up, I'm like, wow, I haven't heard of them in ages. But I don't think they're around anymore, right? I don't think the band itself is really playing or anything like that, if I remember correctly.
No, they don't do anything. They split up after their second album, then they tried to reunite 12 years ago. They did a short EP. It's available on Spotify, but that was it. But Timo, as I said, is a good friend, and his voice is awesome, really. And if he talks to you, even having on the phone is always fun.
That's crazy. Yeah, I'm glad he brought them up. Yeah, there's a lot of power metal bands. Like you said in earlier, there are a lot of power metal bands that aren't really around anymore. But yeah, just brought one up. I'd have to go revisit those records because I have those albums still. After all this time, but I think the last album might have came out 06 or 07 or 2014. I'm not 100% sure, but I definitely remember the band. That's cool that his voice is on the narration. That's interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, this yearbook is really it became a huge project. So normally we didn't have to do it like big like this, but somehow in the process the idea spread, and from one to two, now we have 5 bonus tracks, and they really, I can promise, this are no leftovers. They are produced for this EP, and they have a certain style. And we have an intro song that is the reminiscence to the old Savageland album. So we took the theme of Pianista, if you
Yeah.
remember that song, and rearranged it. And the story, as I said, it tells the same story of the album from a different perspective. So it loses some legs, I would say. And yeah, everybody who owns it, I guess, will get a nice piece of history from our band.
Yeah. So what you're saying is it's worth the $60 I just paid for it.
It is. No, it's quite expensive. Yeah.
That's really not too bad. I mean, people don't realize that yearbooks are. I mean, when you open those up, I mean, it's a hardbound book with, it's a hardbound book with a lot of really cool artwork and a lot of stuff in it. I have a few yearbooks from different bands actually, and I think that it takes a lot to put those together because you have to get content for them. It's not like a CD or a digipack where you have a little tiny booklet and you're done with it. Yearbook, I mean, they're pretty elaborate, but everybody always has this notion that if it's a bonus track, it must suck and it shouldn't have been on the album. But every band has tracks that you're just like, I can't really put this on there. It doesn't flow with the rest of the record. It doesn't mean the song is bad. It just means it just doesn't fit, in this group of tracks that we have. So, because if the song sucks, you wouldn't have an incentive to buy, a special edition of a record. So it's kind of how that goes.
For me, the same. We are all fans as well, and I totally hate if I buy a CD and there's these shitty bonus tracks that are unfinished versions of a finished track, or just put together poorly, or tracks where if the band says, okay, this track didn't make it on the album because it sucks, then we put it on the bonus track and you have to buy for it. So that's shit, man. And we wanted to avoid this. And we had one treasure because there was one certain track. It's a power ballad called Above the Maelstrom. It was intentionally meant for the normal album, and it was, by rating and by all the things, it was one of our favorite tracks. We really, really liked this track, but it didn't fit in so well. So at this point of the story and from the album, it somehow disturbed the flow, because there were also, with Providence, there's a track that starts a little bit slower, and at this point in the album, it felt wrong, and it was a hard decision for us to say, okay, this track doesn't fit into this position where it's meant to be. When you write a story, you can put it on another place of the album. It has to be there. So we replaced it with Trial and Trail of Fear, who's more powerful at this point, and this part was needed there. And so Above the Maelstrom was placed on this bonus CD, but for us, it's one of our, I would say it's the best power ballad we've ever written. So it raises the bar very high, and we knew, okay, we put it there, and the other tracks must be on a equal level. So we did a lot of effort in the songwriting that it doesn't sound strange if you have shitty tracks and one good track, shitty tracks. So it shouldn't be like this. That was our measure point to somehow deal with this song.
Hey everybody, Tony here from the Metal Command podcast. Again, I appreciate your support. Since 1998, I have hosted this show in one form or another, starting off in radio and now in the podcast format. Again, thanks for watching, and if you like what you see and hear on this show, by all means, please hit the subscribe button, hit the little bell to be notified anytime I do post a video, and if you see this program on any other form of social media, please give me a follow there. Again, I always appreciate your support.